Kat,
Hi.
how are you?
Hi. I'm good, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm good. I was like thinking, I'm like, I have natural curly hair, so I cut my hair in the curls. And I was telling myself, tonight I think I'm going to straighten my hair because sometimes I can't handle the curls. And here you are.
That was me. I did the same. I knew that I was meeting with you today and I went out with my dog, so I went, okay, there's no way I can salvage this hair to make myself remotely, acceptable. So I ended up straightening it and I was like, okay, it's a change up. So we'll
So
see.
it was opposite. I was thinking, I'm going to go curly to match up with Cat tonight. I think tonight
Yes.
I'm going to straighten it. And there you are, my opposite.
Yeah. I rarely straighten it. So I used to for years and years, and then I just ended up, yeah, retracting back to going wavy, curly, and I feel strange when my hair is straight. It feels very light and it just feels different. So yeah, I feel strange when I don't have the curl. The curly hair is I just feel like a signature for me. So
Definitely, definitely. Well, Kat, thank you for finding time coming on the Cat Chat podcast. And then hopefully nobody could collude with us because both of our names are Cat.
absolutely. I know. I love that actually. I love that we were finally able to we've been chatting. I've seen your posts and everything come up before, so I know you're part of the Hallmark community and that you really love like these films and that you interview and so forth. And then it's the Cat podcast and you've got Cat. So
Yes,
it had to be.
definitely. No one says hi, by the way. You're gonna have so much fun with Kathryn. I'm not
Oh,
excited.
they're so sweet. Such a great team. So yeah, thank you. And hi back if they're listening.
All right, Catherine. Before we get into movies, I just want to get like a background knowledge to get to know you. So, tell me, how did you get into acting? Was it something that you've always wanted to do?
Yes, so I grew up in the UK, so I don't know if people can tell from my weird hybrid accent. I am born in the southwest of England, so my parents always exposed me to a lot of the arts, ballet, musical theatre, plays, pantomime was a big one growing up. And every year at my primary school, they do an annual musical. So that kind of, I was always interested, but I was very shy as a child. And even to this day, my parents' friends that have known me since, being this big sort of thing, they're surprised when they hear that I'm an actor. They go, "Really? Oh, okay. We didn't think that." And I can have my moments still. I can be shy from time to time, but it was having that exposure young in life, I think, and going to being blessed to go see West End shows in London and I took that with me. And even though I was nervous and didn't always have the courage to go and audition, I still had that underlying passion for the arts. And then when I got to high school and I was living in Canada by that point, I started to do musicals away from my curriculum, away from school. And just amateur theatre groups, but I was doing musicals, I was doing review shows. I'm a singer. It's been a while, but I did, yeah, get really into dance and musical theater. And then when I left high school, I knew that I wanted to go and become an actor, and it was just about how do you go about doing that. So I studied English and history because I've always loved that as well, those subjects as well. And then I auditioned for a performing arts program in Toronto, Canada. And it was a BFA program, so Bachelor of Fine Arts. And my brother and I both got accepted. So we moved up sticks from BC, British Columbia. So I grew up in a town called Kelowna and moved to Toronto and then graduated after 4 years there with a BFA in performance acting and launched into the world of auditions. And then it's been a process, going through lots of auditions, lots of rejection and everything. And then here we are, still doing it.
Well, if acting didn't work out for you, was there another career that in mind that you've always wanted to do?
Such a good question. I think I am in the career definitely that I want to be. I love it, and I know that whenever I'm on a set, and working, even though there's frustrations in the industry with auditions and rejection and everything, whenever I'm working on a set, I just feel it's so much energy and so much passion for it. I do have other passions. I love reading. I really love history. So I think if I wasn't doing what I am doing, I would probably be maybe an archaeologist or a historian or a teacher. I think I do want to teach down the road, but it would be in the field of acting, and I want to produce and really spread my wings within the performing arts community. But yeah, probably if I were to step away from it, I would be a historian of some sort.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a full-time teacher and I love history, English,
Yes.
anything, not so much with math or
No,
science, numbers, and all that. Like, no,
no,
absolutely
no. Maths was never a strong point for me, and there was one instance when I was about 13, and I know I wanted to be an actor, but when I was 13, I was like, I want to have a career that, I make decent money and I would be, financially stable. And I was like, plastic surgeon. Then the following year, I took biology, chemistry, physics, was dreadful in all of them. So that was a very, very short-lived optional career of like plastic surgeons make a lot of money. And then I realized it's 16 years of medical school training. And yeah, I could not do chemistry or physics whatsoever. So that was a very, very short-lived other option of career.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I grew up wanting to be a teacher because I have a family full of teachers, full of
Oh, wow.
authors, full of the education profession, and my mom was out of more of a business accounting profession, but it was like mainly accounting, business, teaching, education. My whole family thought like, yeah, sure, why not? I grew up, I'll be a teacher.
Yeah.
So why not? So I've been teaching for about, I want to say, 15 years. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, hats off to you because that is such an admirable choice of career path, and you're just inspiring, generations up of children. And I think school and well, education just in general is very, very much overlooked and underfunded. We have similar sort of situations in Canada, and I think that teachers are just underappreciated in general. One of my best friends is a school teacher, and I know how hard it is as well. She teaches grade 4, 5 split, and it's wearing and it's hard. You have to give so much of yourself and to these
yeah, I used
children
to
and
teach elementary and
inspire.
I went up to the high school. I think I'm okay. I'm better off with the high school because I can like
Really,
learn a
I
bit
heard that
and
that's
enjoy
tough.
learning history or English again. But when it comes to other subjects, I'm like, have fun.
That is the one thing, yes. When you do get to sort of high school, you specialize versus you have to have broad overall education in maths. And as soon as I was in high school and I did not have to do maths anymore, I was out. I was no longer doing mathematic classes. It brought down my
Right,
GPA, and I was like, I was always
right.
wanted to get work ethic. I was a, keen student. I love learning. Um, I've got tons of books and stuff, and I usually have 3 books on the go at once. But no, not for maths. As soon as I was able to get out of doing maths, I was out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with work, I have two other coworkers that we call each other work-wise. So I am specialized or mainly in chemistry because I've been in chemistry for about 4 years, and then English. But when it comes to math, I'm good with geometry, with the pictures and the formula. But my other work-wise is good with numbers, like with the algebra
Okay.
equations and all that stuff that we like trade off without doing it. I'm like, can you help him with this? I help him with it. I'm like, yeah, go ahead because I have no clue what I'm doing.
Sounds like you've got it down packed though. You've got a good working relationship. So hopefully nothing, stirs or what is it called? Unsteadies the boat on that front. I think you've got everything working for you.
Okay, I wanted to talk about unwrapping Christmas before we talk about host around the table. I mean, I watched 4 movies, and I'm chatting with the Tiny Buckby too at once.
Nice.
He is the delight. And I was telling him out of all of the Bourne movies, me and Prince was actually my favorite. I think it was, yeah, because
Thank you.
of the green. It's because there's
Mm,
so much green in that movie, and the fantasy and the storytelling. And of course, it comes from a book that Mia
yes.
was reading, and then she meets her Prince Charming somehow in that movie. So that was one of my favorite movies of the Unwrapping series.
Well, thank you so much. I really loved the script when it was sent to me. I mean, I'm a bookworm, so I found that I connected most to Mia. Aside from another character I played a few years ago in Christmas on Fifth, I felt that Mia aligned the most with me. So I
Yeah,
loved the romanticism of the script and the dream sequences. And I was working with Amy Force, the director, and this was our fifth collaboration on, I think it was it fifth? Fifth collaboration, fifth time we've worked together. And we have that trust. It was her first time working with this production company. It was my second time with this company. And I just know that she knows the work. She has such a beautiful aesthetic as well and how she filmed things. And I think that her choices with the shot setups, I know that the camera team were like, ooh, trying something different from the usual camera setups that you see in a lot of these films. She really went in for the romanticism in that world, and I think it really paid off in the end because it ended up being it's the project I'm most proud of to this day is that film.
definitely. I mean, I was like looking at each movie and trying to figure out each girl, like Tina
Hmm.
Nicole, Lily Destiny, and Olivia Reunion. It was really nice to see how the friendship formed and how each of their stories tied in each movie and how, oh, I remember from this movie. Oh, I remember seeing this part from this movie. So it was really fascinating. I like how it flowed because I know you had two different directions for
Yes.
like two and two for each movie. I also had a chance talking with Max as well.
Maxwell, yeah.
Talked about a little bit of the experience too.
I only got a couple scenes with Max directing. Um, Aside from that, it was Amy for the most part, but yeah, it was every character, of course, had their own characteristics. The ladies that were hired brought um their own acting choices, their own personal characteristics, and that we're interweaving them into the characters. So I really loved seeing when we started to work together in this crossover, seeing the elements of each character and how they were coming and the choices that these actresses were making. And something that was just so special about this project in general is in within the world of Hallmark, the female actors never meet each other. We recycle the men, we say. So, we'll work with, so and so here and so here, and but the women never get to work with each other. So that's something that was so special about this project. And watching the women work, we all have a similar approach to the genre itself. And so it kind of clicked for me. I was like, I get why we're working, is because we all have a similar like working style to the genre, and we all bring these little flares and these nuances into the world. So it was fascinating working and working with Cindy and the range of projects she's done, and Ashley Newborough, and I knew of Natalie Hall. We'd had again we'd had a male co-star that I'd worked with and she'd worked with, so we knew of each other. And but getting to actually work with the ladies and seeing their choices. I remember the first couple scenes with Natalie, and she was playing her approach to Tina was that she was very is it personality A or type A? So, very regimented, very much like list driven, didn't sway, whereas like Mia was a lot more kind of like floating and romantic. And like Cindy Busby's very grounded in the performance. Natalie Hall had this kind of like attitude to her in the film. So it was so fun watching she hadn't filmed her movie yet either. And Cindy and I had just wrapped our films, and then we did a crossover week, and then the two other films were to be done. She'd already made these character choices, so it was just amazing. It's like a master class watching these women work.
Yeah, I was like talking with them, they're trying to figure out how it all works because I can't imagine doing 4 movies and like maybe like 2 weeks for this, 2 weeks for that, or you focus at a movie at a time. Okay, we're done with the movie. We're gonna do this movie because I believe
Yes.
Cindy said she was the last one. The film her movie was Olivia Reunion, the last
Yeah,
one.
it was the opposite of how it was aired. So Olivia's Reunion was the last
Oh,
of the four,
okay.
but the first to be filmed.
Gotcha.
And then mine was the second to be filmed, second to be out. Natalie was the third movie to be filmed, first film to be out. And then Ashley was the last movie, but ended up the third.
Yeah, it was really
So,
interesting.
yeah. It was honestly, shout out to the production managers for that film because how they scheduled us all. Cindy's flying in from LA, Natalie's flying in, she's got her kids with her. My co-star Nathan was coming in from Vancouver, Torrance is coming in from LA. Like we were all from all over the place. Alec was Vancouver, and Jake and I were Toronto. So we were perhaps more simple, but Jake Epstein is consistently working. He's very incredibly talented, and he absolutely deserves the career that he's had. But I know that he's hard to lock down because he's constantly got another project in the works and everything. So yes, the production managers did an amazing job of keeping us all. We just needed to know. I'm like, what time do I have to be up? And what time am I being picked up every day? And I just had to know my lines and make my choices. And then everyone else pulled 110% wardrobe, hair, makeup departments, the props departments. They brought the store. It was insane. It was incredible.
Oh,
The work that they
yeah.
did. We had someone, I tell this story sometimes. I told Noah this story as well, that we were in the middle of a take. I was not filming. I think it was maybe something of Nathan's coverage. And a lady walked into the store that we were filming in because we are filming along quite a famous, it's called Sussex Drive Avenue, maybe Avenue. And it's right in the heart of Ottawa. Literally across the road is the American Embassy. Just along a little bit is the Canadian Revenue Agency. So we're in the heart of the government setup of Canada. And this lady just walked right into the store, and the first AD, Johnny, was kind of trying to be like, we're in the middle of a take. She's kind of, and she goes, well, you could put a sign on the door if you're not open. Like in the middle of a take, we're going. It was so fun. I was behind the cameras, thankfully, because I'd not have kept a straight face. But that was how realistic the job was. They had signage outside. I mean, they must have been very confused, the Ottawa residents, because it's got Christmas decorations and it was the middle of June. But yeah, that's compliments to their work, is that a woman walked in the store thinking it was a real store and then got mad at us.
That's funny because I was
Yeah.
like amazed how the wrapping store looked and turned out, and
Oh,
Cindy was there the one weekend, and there was like nothing. It was like absolutely nothing, and the production team just like converted it into like an amazing wrapping store. I was like, wow, that's a really nice
yeah.
place. I would like to go there, but oh wait, it only exists in Hallmark movies, not actually there.
They even had a menu board that they had made about the different wrapping styles that they could do, and they all had a play on words. So I mean, my brain's not functioning fast enough but it'd be like tinsel all the way and stuff, or like I don't know, twinkle. It was so clever. Every single detail had been thought about. And so just the team, Gregory, Tomas, they led the art department. Like incredible, incredible work they did.
Did you have to like learn or practice all of the rapping skills? Because I know both you had like different contacts at the end of the
Yes.
movie to get the money or raise the money. I was like, I wonder if they could do that in real life because they that's pretty good. I mean, I do the old-fashioned rap. I just rap, tape, bow, label. That's it. I don't do none of that traditional or fancy stuff, though. I was curious
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah, I can, make a ribbon curly somewhat. So I could do that before this production. And if I'm wrapping gifts by the end, they're looking pretty good. But when I go back and look at the first one, it's like put that at the bottom of the tree. Like nobody needs to see that. But I did do training, well, training. Tomas, who was in the art department, he would send me videos, and he would kind of coach me on how to do the particular wrapping style. And then, of course, it would end up looking amazing on when you're doing wide shots when you're not seeing it up close. But then, of course, when the camera comes in close, it's all pressure. I've got like sweaty hands and doing it and trying to make it look as nice as it did in the wide shot. But yes, I did have some videos to be able to work off of for that. So I don't know about the other girls. They just the whole sequence of the rapping competition was quite a challenge to film because there were just so many actors, so many background performers as well. And we ended up having three cameras in that day. Usually we would shoot with two, but we had three cameras because we just had to capture everything in a small time period. And yeah, it was great, great fun.
Out of all the four films, with the other four films, were there any challenges or surprising about filming?
Were there any what? Sorry?
Challenges or surprises, like something unexpected that you had to do that, okay, let's do it this way.
Sort of. The filming process would be we would switch one another out. So we had the tables all set up, and then it would be like, okay, Kat, go in and you're gonna rap, and we'd have to change the background actors around with us. And it would be like, okay, rap a bit, stop. Okay, and then they would have second they had the props would be wrapped at various stages. So they had about four or five of them. So then they would remove the one that you had been trying to work on, and then they would give you the next stage of it wrapped up. I feel like I'm giving secrets away, but so then they would go and action, and you would continue rapping, and then they'd be like and stop, and then they would have the next stage of the rapping coming in, and then I did rap mine though. My little one. Like I was wrapping that. I had been trained on that process, but with some of the other things, so like Cindy's, mistletoe was so complicated, but they had it in different stages, and she was, flourishing the ribbons and everything, making it, look like it was made by her. But yeah, it was tricky. It was a challenge for sure, that scene. The patience that the crew had though, because we just like go in, stand there, rap. They were the ones that were having to track everything and, get the lighting in the background, and it's just a huge organization.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie, and I like to see how Hallmark and Hallmark Plus incorporate with a new formula. Now,
Mm,
formula like boy meet girl, girl meet boy, fall in love, or have some kind of conflict. But now, like you said, it's all about girls, like girls, their perspective. But now, maybe who knows about the guys? I mean, I don't even know what they're gonna call if they do the guy perspective. I mean, I don't know. But the girls like Unwrapping Christmas, the guys will be, I don't know. Because they have almost nothing really in common. Just, meet the girls or anything. So it's nice to see different perspectives and forming friendship or some kind of like a moral or a theme or a lesson into the movie other than an typical formula romance.
hmm No, that was one of the really lovely things about the world, the unwrapping world, is that it was very much about the friendship and relationships of the four women and how they're supporting one another throughout their romantic challenges in life. And then of course, we have our men that are circulating within our worlds as well. But I really love that element, and I think it's a good formula for Hallmark because if you have Cindy Busby in something, she's bringing like her enormous fan base. So I mean, for me, it's being a little bit more on the rookie side of things and being newer into the Hallmark world. I mean, it's feels like it's great exposure because I'm working with royalty here, like Ashley Newborough, like Natalie Hall. I felt very blessed to be part of that process. And so yeah, I think it's a formula that I think is worked. And Hearts Around the Table was a very similar kind of formula. And I was lucky enough to be in that with four half of the crew I'd worked with on the Unwrapping Christmas. We all ended up together on Hearts Around the Table. So that was incredible blessing to get to work with them twice in a year. And yeah, just
Yeah, that's
I
amazing.
think
You
it
got to
works.
work with same crew on a different project so that also bring along Host Around the Table. Of course, you had an opportunity to work with Ashley and
Mhm.
Torn Coon too. So we really found that, oh, you with Ashley love interest in Unwrapping Christmas, and now she's the one love interest and Torn and hmm, who was Torrance love interest? What did you? Yeah, you and
Hearts Around the Table,
Torrance.
yes,
So it
me.
was like different. But
I
again,
know.
I really felt the Host Around the Table want more emotion and family dynamic with
Mhm.
the connection. Like learning with the Foster and each have different things that I learned a lot about each one. Jenna, Sherry, Josh, and Kiki as well. And they have different growing up, different challenges or different kinds of grief. So tell me about your experience about Host Around the Table with an amazing cast. I cannot say so much about Mindy, who played
Yes.
Angie. She literally, I mean, out of all of the four movies, I mean, she's like the most character I wanted to watch because of how she handled everybody, their
Hmm.
problem, and how she tried to like push, you know, oh, if you go there, who's gonna be there? And then that kind of thing, really a French formula for Hallmark to provide that movie.
Yeah, Hearts Around the Table, I mean, incredible production. Blessed to have been part of it. When it came up, my agent called me and she said that, oh, I've been, chatting to producers and they have an offer for you for this role. So the only person I knew when I was like, yeah, was Mindy Cohn. So that was the only person they announced to me. They were like, oh, it's kind of quiet right now, but Mindy Cohn is going to be playing Angie, who is the foster mom for all of these kids. I'm like, cool, great. Scooby-Doo, like she played Velma and Scooby-Doo. So it was iconic her being on set and she would just drop into the Velma act like voice. We'd be like, so yeah, we were children. But I was going out for a walk with my dogs and my phone goes off and Ashley texted me and she said, hi, Kiki. I went, so that's how I learned that Ashley was part of this production as well, was that she texted me and I'm like, oh my God, who are you playing? Like, oh, you're Jenna. And she was about maybe 3 days into production. So I also got to reunite with Steve Lund. So I worked with Steve Lund a few years ago on a movie called 6 Degrees of Santa. So it's great getting to reunite with him. And then I gradually learned like who the other actors were. So I knew heard Michelle Morgan. Had never worked with her before, but I knew of her. Brendan, of course. Stephanie. Stephanie was. We didn't really learn about Stephanie's casting until just before Thanksgiving. We were just wrapping the second film, and then we were like, okay, Stephanie's involved. So, yeah, it was just a great process. The story, I think, the storyline really connected. I think audiences really enjoyed this anthology. I think the structure of the family being like foremost center was a really special formula, and it was wonderful like getting to work with Ashley, Jake, Michelle, Angie. We had Justice who played Rory in it as well, and then later on Millie Davis was brought in as Gina. So we got to really work together and establish this family unit. And I think that it was existing in real life. We were working and trusting each other within the work. And I think that chemistry that we had as off screen and on screen siblings, I think really permeated through the work. And I hope it was well received. I know that a few people have said, well, what about Mindy's story? You know, Angie didn't get, there should have been a fifth movie. Angie should have had a storyline. Um, but I think that the storyline of unconventional families was very resonant. That sometimes family is not connected by blood, it's who you choose. Um, I think that all of the siblings, they all had, as you said, their own background. They came from their own struggles, their own traumas, their own passions, their own pursuits, but still every week they would come together, and no matter how different they were and what troubles and struggles they were going through, they could all come together and feel at home and connected with their siblings. So,
Yeah,
really amazing
definitely. I mean, I
process.
really enjoyed the last one once again because I think it
Oh,
kind of like perfectly like wrapped up everything. And Kiki was like, I'm gonna do everything for Janet, right? I'm gonna do everything. I can do it by myself. I can. And then she started to see them challenging. I was like looking at the TV. I was like, take his help. He's offering his help. It's okay if you need help. Just take it. And there was some challenging and that. I just really like how the chemistry because I tried to watch all of the other movies. I was like, I could see a little bit of Kathryn do, and
yeah.
each character more like bubbly, more quirky, more energetic in each of them. I have never seen a really like a deep or different character from what I normally watch a movie though. So I really liked how the characters involved and how Kiki was able to save the day with help from Torrance character and the
Yes.
wedding with Jenna finding her birth father and Mindy of course was trying to hold everything in and the character was like I want Janet to have the best day. I was like, how can I do all of this in the last movie? It could be like
Hmm.
another edition or a part two or something because it was really amazing how it turned out.
Yeah, there was a lot of drama. When it came to the fourth film, there was a lot of drama of, Jenna feeling that she didn't understand how when she arrived at the foster care, she said, "This is all I came with," where I don't know what happened to my dad. She's having almost an identity crisis. Then you have Steve that's trying to help her through it, even though his overbearing mother keeps, you know, Eve was so lovely. Eve Crawford was great. Of playing these moments where, she just says the wrong thing, and you're just like, you have Mindy, yeah, that's trying to nurse her as well through this tricky kind of moment. You have Kiki that is being stubborn and won't ask for help. You have Michelle Morgan that's seems like she's settled. Sherry's kind of settled, but Ethan wants to be involved a little bit more with the family, and so he's struggling as a little bit. I think the only one that had it pretty smooth was Josh, really, in the last film. Everyone else is kind of going through, their moments of turmoil and everything, but it all got resolved in the end and ended up in a gorgeous wedding and party and success for Kiki's tandoori chicken.
It was definitely really good. I just really liked it all. Like I thought with Unwrapping Christmas and the whole hallmarks changing things, shifting
Yeah.
things. We're gonna try it this way, I think, because I think like Love Club with Mom and
Hmm.
the Love Club, the original Love Club, and we have the Chicken Sisters, and we have more mystery coming back. I was like, okay, this is getting really good. I was really impressed how Hallmark is
Yeah.
starting to involve and change the formula. Okay, we're gonna go for friendship, grief, family dynamic rather than the usual. So health around the table with a hit. I mean, I enjoyed all four of them.
Oh, yay. Yeah, I think I like the direction that Hallmark is taking. I think it gives audiences more time to really connect with characters versus, it's I think by the time an edit happens, I think the movies are only about 84 minutes in length. So that's really hard to establish rapport and to really feel something for the characters and empathize and be rooting for them. So I think that this formula gives audiences far more time to be able to connect if it's happening over the sequence of 4 weeks. Um, And Hearts Around the Table, it was different from the Unwrapping because there was a lot more character involvement within each other's storylines versus Unwrapping, which was amazing process. And, we still had the chance to show our characters through the work itself. But it wasn't so those movies were very insulated, like they were strictly those characters' storylines as they progressed for the ending in the whole gala sequence at the end. And it was all of the girls' different storylines, all the final moment being that gala. I think that, yeah, this movie sequence of Hearts Around the Table will just give audiences even more time to invest in these characters and really start to root for them. And yeah, I think what they're doing feels good, and if they continue to do projects in this direction, that's great. It's lovely for an actor to feel like I'm employed, and and have more time to invest and really find the relationship with these characters and within this world. So yeah, hopefully
Yeah, hopefully, I mean,
Hallmark's doing it right.
after watching all the reviews, they talk with a couple in my band who we like sometimes have you seen the movie, you need to watch it, or I will watch it the next day. Just depends on my schedule and how busy I am. But we were talking about, this is really good. They should keep it going. They should like
Yes.
now that Jenna, Jerry, Josh, and Kiki are happy, moving on. No, maybe Mindy will have another family or another background open up
Yeah.
to her door, that maybe that will give an opportunity to have Mindy telling her story, because I think she
Mhm.
had a story to tell, like how did she become a foster mom, or how did she get involved with foster care, what made her want to do it. So she did tell a little bit about it in each movie, but it's not like the whole movie where
Mhm.
everybody sits like background and it's just about Mindy. So hopefully Hallmark will come up with something for Mindy and maybe
Yes.
another family that do I can have some cameos popping in and out of that movie.
Yeah, that would be great. That was the feedback. I know that during production I was hearing little like snippets during that they were Hallmark was very happy with what they were seeing. So I was like, great, yay, we wanted them to be happy. We want them to like what we're doing. And that I mean I would love if things can continue. Some feedback that I've heard is that everyone really loved it and they were like, we want more. Can there be a Christmas special? Can there be like what about Mindy? Mindy didn't get a story sort of thing. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
Maybe
fingers crossed.
maybe it'll come
Christmas
back.
special angle, we could be it could be Mindy's story, finding someone or learning about her stuff. So that would be something Hallmark can look into. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, they left it on a cliffhanger, we'll say, because we got snippets, of course, of Angie's background, and Mindy made amazing character choices that she always wore. You probably saw throughout, she always wore a ring on a necklace, and so she made that actor's choice so that it's close over her heart, and so there is the subtext is there. We know that she's gone through a loss. She's lost her husband. So when's Mindy's turn? She's the cheerleader for everyone else to find romance and success and happiness in their life. So now it's Angie's turn.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, the last movie I really want to talk about because I know it's the old movie, but it's a band favorite and it's a classic, The Christmas on Fifth Avenue.
Ah,
I
yes.
absolutely love that movie. I swear to God. I mean, the moment you like take over the apartment, decorate for Christmas, and what was his name? What was
Olivier?
the Oliver character right
Yeah.
there. Okay, here we go. The banter, they're like back and forth. Your chemistry with Oliver in that movie was absolutely
Oh,
spot on. You're like trying to help, and he's like all closed off. You're like, no, I don't do that. Like, come on,
no.
it's okay, Brand the Christmas cheer, It's like, tell me about that movie because I know it was one of your favorite projects to work on because of the whole
Mhm.
Christmas story and the storyline and the character as well.
Yes. It's that one is definitely one of my favorite experiences as well. It was my first ever lead role. So I'd done a lot of supporting roles up until then in the world of Hallmark, that genre itself. So this was the first time I was sort of entrusted by amazing executive producer Beth Stevenson to be like, you know, you're Eva, go for it. So I was working with, I met Olivier before. We'd actually been in a show called The Wedding Planners. We were not in the same scenes, but we ended up talking sort of behind the scenes in what they call like the green room. So it's where sort of the actors hang out in between uh, sort of camera setups or um, you just sort of chill if you're not being used in a scene in particular. And so I met him there. And I thought he was fascinating. Like he speaks about four languages. He's incredibly intelligent. So I found him fascinating. And then when I got the role, I had a sneaking suspicion. It's funny. It was the same with Unwrapping Christmas. Me as Prince, I didn't know who I was cast opposite until I went to my wardrobe fitting, probably 3 days before we went to camera. And I showed up and I'm like, Raj, Ray, who am I working with? Like, I actually don't know who's cast, but I'd had a vision of what I thought Bo would look like. And then when they were like, Nathan, and I Googled him, I'm like, that's exactly what I thought he would look like. So that was amazing. And then I knew as soon as they said Lynette Ware was playing Claire Kavanagh, I'm like, oh, well, goddess, because I'd already worked with her twice before. So with Christmas on Fifth, I read the script and I started to vision, and I was like, I wonder if it's gonna be that actor that I worked with on the wedding planners. And I was like, his name was Olivier. Like, oh, I have a feeling it might be him. So I reached out to the casting director and she told me who it was. I was like, I knew it. It just, I don't know, instinct. I just knew. So we started to work together, sort of via Zoom. We would run lines. We would talk about the script a few weeks before we went to camera because we were both, I felt the pressure. It's my first lead role. I'm like, really want to nail this. For Olivier, it was his second lead, but the first with this particular company. So again, we wanted to just commit and get the best performance out possible. And we just had an ease of working together. He comes from a theater background, myself too. We just played on camera. We would try different things out. We just have this trust that I love to build that with other actors. I think it brings such a richness to the work. And he was just so open to that. And so we just had a blast the entire time we were working together. Um, we would hang out like weekends, we would run lines as well together because again, we're just being very, very good about making sure we knocked it out of the ballpark. And I think that our chemistry, it came because we trusted each other so much and we wanted to just try, I'm going to try this. Are you comfortable with that? Well, and we were lucky we got to be cast together again a couple months after in a movie called Planes, Trains, and Christmas Trees. And I'm dying to work with him again. I really think that I was chatting to him a couple weeks ago. He's in Rome right now. He was working on a play and I was telling him, I'm like, I have in mind, a couple of ideas that I haven't quite put down to paper. I haven't written anything yet, but he's in my mind. I'm like, he's going to be working with me on this production if it ever gets off the ground, if I ever write anything. And I think that, yeah, we just have that very special connection. I think we're just very, very good friends. And even there's a show that came up I got an audition for a couple of years ago, and when I read the script, I was like, "It's me and Olivier." And I messaged him, and he was in Mexico at the time because he's constantly traveling. And I messaged him over WhatsApp, and I'm like, "You need to ask your agent to read for this role. This is literally us." And so he did. We didn't get cast, unfortunately, but he's always in my mind I'd love the opportunity to work with him again.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And yeah, that movie was really good. It was different, and I like the banter, like how like get him to open up, and how he was able to help you too. But I had to talk about that movie because that's such a good movie. I've seen it a few times in the past, but like last week, I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna watch it again. So I watched
Oh,
it again. So I try to like be prepared and everything, but overall, it was a really good movie. And I think everybody liked the back then and they do
yeah.
right now because you and Oliver had a really good on-screen chemistry. Like you said, it was your first leading role and it was second leading role. So that kind of like put the pressure on. Okay, for
Yeah.
my first one, I want to do really good, but overall, it was a great movie. And I think everybody did a fantastic job with that movie.
Oh, thank you. It's also directed by Amy Force as well. So the same director for Unwrapping Christmas Me as Prince. I got to work with her on that in my first lead role, and she really is an actor's director. And you just know that just show up, make choices, and she will guide you as she needs to for the storyline. And I think it's all the richer for it.
Yeah. Okay, so is there any, I know you're kind of like new to Hallmark, you're in some Hallmark movies, but is there any person or anyone you want to work in the future? Again, with Hallmark movies, doesn't matter who, or I know Oliver, one of them, but anybody want, oh, I don't mind working with him or her in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, absolutely. What I love actually about Hallmark is how many Canadians are involved and how many Canadians are in that, you know, they're at stardom level. So that's amazing to me. I always love homegrown talent going out. So definitely there's a few on like the gent side. Like I'd love to work with Marcus Rosner because he's also a producer. So I'm like, I need to learn. I want to like whatever you've learned of the industry, give it to me. Like however, if I get to work with you or like oversee or observe or something, that would be great. Um, Love Andrew Walker. I think he's got just such a suave nature to him. Tyler Hines, but he's legendary, very, very popular Hallmark. So, and oh, I really love Hunter King. I just think there's something about her. So if I could do like a girls movie again with like Hunter King and give me Cindy Busby again, and I loved Ashley, Natalie. I'm always down for reunions too. I really do love the opportunity to go back and work with the same crews and the same actors. I think it just brings such a richness to the work. So
Yeah,
hopefully
all of them are
more opportunities.
Yeah, all of them are great people. So I always ask my guys, like, toward the end of the podcast, who would you like to work with again? Or who would you like to work with in the future that you haven't, but don't mind
Yes.
because no, Hallmark is always listening and getting some feedback from the actors themselves, as long
Yeah.
as much as the band too. So yeah, I could speak for
Yeah.
myself. I mean, the people you named, I met Tyler Hines, I met Denny Busby, I met Andrew Walker, and they're fantastic people. So they will be great people and a great opportunity to work with, hopefully, in the future, in some kind of a Hallmark film.
Yes, that would be amazing. That would be a blessing. So, yeah, we'll just manifest it. Throw it out to the universe. If it happens and Hallmark come around to the idea, amazing.
What movies is there like a role or a character or a vibe that you want to try out? Because I know some actors have a very same path of the similar character, similar role, non-bubbly character, perky, but they never really like shift to something different or something opposite. So you want to like challenge yourself with different roles or you feel comfortable with whatever script you enjoy.
I really love and I feel so blessed to be able to work within the genre and the world of this Hallmark style of film. So because romance is just, there's nothing more magical than showing up on a set every day and be like, guys, we're making a Christmas film about love and romance and yay. So I do love and I'm very blessed and grateful for where I am. I'd love to do a Hallmark mystery. And I also love being the historian and adore like I love history and so forth. I would love to do a period show. So whether that is When Hope Calls or When Calls the Heart, sorry. I get the two Hope When Hope Calls and then When Calls the Heart. Their stories are just so similar, the names, and I feel so terrible about messing that up right now. But that would be an amazing project, something along those lines. Growing up, I loved Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, And so I was very lucky with Unwrapping Christmas that I got to work with the executive producer who was also behind that. So I'm like, maybe that's a few steps forward to doing a role of a similar style. Jane Seymour's working a lot in Hallmark now, and love to work with her. Yeah, something that involves a little bit of history, maybe a little bit of action, but still with the romance and everything within there. I'm open to it all.
Of course, that was nice because it's nice to have someone to research or open up to different new experience, new challenge. Oh, like, oh, this, okay, this is completely out of my box or out of what I'm used to. So it's nice to see some actors try it out. There's some movies that we watch, I'm used to him pretty there. And I see them a different movie, I was like, wow, no. Uh, and then as the movie goes along, they shift and change back to the usual character or the usual person we usually see him. And I see movies sometimes I was like, why are you like that in the beginning of the movie? No, but it was fantastic. How do you pull it
Mm,
off? And then the rest of the movie, I was fascinated to see how you guys work and how you guys approach or work for your world, even if it's not your usual world or out of your comfort zone.
hmm I was a horse rider when I was younger, so I would love to do a project that involves horses. I haven't been on one for years, but I would love to brush up on that and be able to do some training and so forth with that. And yeah, just open to, I'm a very animated person, so I feel like I would like to challenge myself as an actor for stillness, for shows like I've auditioned for shows like The Reacher and there's oh gosh, what is it? Oh, I'm blanking on the show, but it's such not muted acting, but it's all stillness and not giving anything away. And the scripts themselves, it's just you don't have to do anything further. You don't have to lift the words off the page because they're written in such a way that less is more. So I find that very challenging as an actor and myself personally because I'm an animated person. But I would like to sort of challenge myself with that. Maybe Reacher or not sure,
That would be,
Amazon or something. That would be
yeah, that
great.
would be something different.
But
I'd be like, "Man, this
so
is not
different.
Kathryn, Norma. Okay, but like, what's going on here? So that would be
It's
very
yeah,
interesting
so
to see.
different. No, would love that. I'm lucky with any opportunity that comes my way, really. So, because I have to pinch myself sometimes and really think that I'm pursuing what I love, and my parents and my family have always been so supportive of that. You know, my dad never thought like actor kind of thing, crazy sort of thing. So I know that whenever I'm working on something, I feel that I'm making my parents proud and that they always had faith. They always knew that it was going to work out. And whenever, you know, an audition didn't work out my way, and I was kind of like, why did I choose this career? You know, they always kept me uplifted, knowing that don't worry, the next project's coming, the next opportunity, and so forth. So I'm very lucky whenever I get the opportunity to work. I feel very grateful.
Did your parents or your mom or dad have like a favorite movie of yours that they have seen?
My mom, Christmas on Fifth was her favorite until Mia's Prince came out. And then she she watches the movie for Nathan. She loves Nathan. She thinks they came to meet me. They actually came to visit me on set and mostly to bring my dogs because I have two dogs and I love them coming to visit me whenever I'm working away. And they came to set so they got to hang out with Nathan and Lynette when we were filming kind of the party sequence at the house. And so it's always amazing my parents watching me work. My dad doesn't quite grasp the industry all the time, and he watched me work on a project a couple of years ago, and he's sort of like, we did a camera setup. It was like a walk and talk between myself and an actor called Neil Whiteley, and then I went to talk to my parents in the shade, and my dad's like, "What are you doing now?" Then super English. My dad, he's like, "What are you gonna film now?" I'm like, "Well, Dad, we have to film. It's the same scene. It's just different camera angles." And he's like, "What?" So he doesn't really grasp the filming industry in that way. But he does, bless, he watches all of them. Uh, he loves certain moments, and so with Christmas on Fifth, there's a particular moment that he every time he watches it, he laughs. And so I always have to kind of try and match that moment in the next film and everything so that he can find particular sequences that he loves. But my mum she watched Christmas, Unwrapping Christmas a couple weeks ago, and I walked in, I was like, "You're just watching it for Nathan, aren't you?" So she loved Nathan.
Yeah, I can't watch for Nathan, only Kathryn who. I'm
Yeah,
watching
who?
for Nathan.
I know, it
Kathryn.
feels a bit disloyal, mother, but she loves Nathan. And then yeah, Christmas on Fifth was a special one. She said that I think it those two characters aligned most to me as a person. So I think that's maybe why she connected with them more because she's like, well, that's my kid on the screen right there doing her.
Okay, Kathryn, what next for you? What next for you in Prussia or Hallmark or outside of Hallmark? If you could talk about it, if you can, good.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get myself to write. I have a few storylines. One actually came into my head a couple days ago. I was like, that would be a cool concept for a show. So I write notes about them all the time. I'm doing some research right now. Yeah, trying to kind of have faith in my writing skills to actually write something. And I've got some actors in mind that I'd love to work on, Olivia. Um, then I've also auditioning. So the audition, it's been pretty quiet for the year so far. I think with the unrest with the fires in LA and everything, I know that that pushed the release of the Hearts Around the Table. We ended up being part of the spring launch, whereas it was actually supposed to, I think, originally air first week of February. So that ended up getting pushed to April and March. March, I guess, releases there. And yeah, so just auditioning and writing and researching and just keeping my instrument as an actor as prepared as possible for whatever kind of comes down the path, the pipeline.
That's exciting. I myself trying to write a movie, write a script and something because I had an idea, but I had to
Yes.
get it down on paper. Now I'm gonna leave it alone for right now. Focus on my book and focus on many things. I have a lot of things going on. So I'm like do this, and then when I have another idea or like a character development or another plot to the story, I go back, I type it in there my phone with the how to script going. I have the idea. Now I have
Yes.
kind of the plot is doing not a typical romance. It's like a platonic friendship in like a supporting way. It could be I'm not sure if it could be a single mom or a married couple with two kids. So I'm still playing with the idea with
Yeah.
kids, special needs. I'm trying to like, get it out there. I'm working on it, but I'm just like now I know how writers feel trying to plant the idea in and make it into a fully blown movie with
Yeah.
dialogue. I'm like, I can't really do dialogue really well, but I could do the story really well. So good luck with that. Hopefully we
Oh,
can
thank
get
you.
a story or some project and hopefully we will see you and Oliver again
Yes, that
on
would be so much
screen.
fun. That would be so much fun if I got to work with him again. We're kind of manifesting it. So when I spoke to him a couple weeks ago, I was like, kind of manifesting something. We hope so. We shall see. We shall see.
Definitely. I like to wrap up my podcast. Normally give a person another chance if they have any comments they want to say or any questions before we close up.
For me.
Yeah, if you have questions
Yeah.
to ask or any comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how did your podcast come about? How long have you been sort of doing it? And what inspired you to start your podcast?
Uh, I started about 2 years ago, so I just passed my second anniversary a couple of weeks
Yay!
ago. Thank you. I know it's
Congratulations.
very exciting. I wanted to do something because it was COVID. I went to my first band convention. It was like a year in COVID, so it wasn't as bad or as
Okay.
terrible. can't leave home, can't do anything. So I went to a band band called Ramba Drama Live. And that's where I met most of everybody. I mean, I met Taylor Hand for the first time there. That was one of the reasons why I went. Taylor Hand, I met Andrew Walker, Ryan
Wow.
Levy, Whitney Bristow. Oreo, come on, come over here. Come on, come here. I'm gonna hold you. I live by the trail. So the people walking and dog walking through the dark.
Oh,
Come here, Olga. Come over here. So I met all kinds of people and I met a lot of fun, a lot of connections and network. And they were like, we should do a podcast. I was like, podcast? I don't know how. I mean, sure, why not? But I'm a mom. I have a busy life. I'm a full-time teacher. I have all of that. I mean, I don't even know if I have the time or the stamina or anything. My phone died. If it had to be one podcast a month, who cares? No, I was like, okay, we'll see how it goes. I tried to have a podcast with the purpose. Boom. It started off with me connecting with Hallmark that I read, and I tried to branch it off to society, like people with special needs children, or the
yeah.
life of a teacher, or all kinds of different social platforms. And I open up to directors, writers, authors, supporting world. It's been a fun ride for a couple of challenges because of the entrepreneur, so I have to work it out with the talent and the entrepreneur to make sure our schedule
A
align.
line. Yes. I love your dog right now
I
as
know it's
well.
Oreo. I have Oreo. I have a cat over there,
Oh,
Charlie. I have
oh
another cat
yes.
over there, Salem. I have another dog in the other room. So it's a full house.
I had to kick mine out. Mine was sleeping, and I was like, "No, you gotta go out," because they do disrupt interviews and things every so often. It'll be a bark, which she did about half an hour ago, or they'll be wanting to climb on the furniture around me, and I'm like, "No, stop it, stop it, stop it," kind of thing. They want to sit on my lap during, so I have to boot them out of the room,
Like I had a
which is
podcast
hard.
one time and my dad. I had a podcast one time and my dad. Charlie was behind the computer. He would walk around and right in front. I'm like, hi, excuse me.
Get out of here.
Like,
Oh, classic dads. My dad would do the same thing. I'm sure he'd walk into a take or something. I've had a couple of directors, because my parents usually come visit me, and I was filming in the UK last year, and they were like, "Did your dad want to be in the film?" And I had to tell him he doesn't quite understand the process of making a movie. So I'm like, if you haven't been background and walk through the scene, he won't understand why he has to do it 8, 9, 10, 12 times. So just just let him observe at the side and be a proud dad kind of thing.
there's no other questions or anything. I would really like to thank you for coming on to the Cat Chat podcast and telling us all about your movies and your experience.
Thank you for having me. Cat meeting cat. It was such a pleasure. So thank you for your support and for watching the movie, and to everyone that listened in. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and hope to maybe connect soon on the next project that's
Hmm.
hopefully down the pipeline.
We've got to get you in a band convention. Because I would love to meet you in person like Christmas Con or
That
something.
would
So we
be,
need to like push out Hallmark or the entertainment company. Come on, bring Kathryn Davis on. But if you bring her, you have to bring Oliver. And then we could
yes,
go back to the
absolutely.
Christmas on Fifth Avenue from
I
Japan.
would love to do a convention date, the Hallmark Con and stuff, Christmas Con and everything. It looks amazing, such good fun. And yeah, to just meet the faces that support me along the way. I think I still have to work a little bit more to be able to have the same recognition. I'm no Cindy Busby, but here's hoping for her kind of successful career that she's had. So if I get an invite, that would be absolutely amazing. I'd be completely blessed. But yeah, no pressure. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
I talked to a few people, including Noah and Donna. We got to put a good one for Kathryn to come on Christmas Con. I mean, what
Oh,
not? You gotta be crazy not to invite her. I
Yeah,
fun there. So what? One more.
that would be so fun. Even the cruises that they do, they were doing like the Hallmark Christmas cruise. That is so much fun. That looks like such a good time. And like Jonathan Bennett, he would be one that I would love to either work with or meet because he's just got the most amazing personality. And I love that they have him leading most of these kind of yeah, Christmas con get-togethers and everything. Oh, Neil Bledsoe as well. I'd love to reunite with him. Sorry, I'm like thinking of like names randomly, but I did
Yeah.
get to work with Neil Bledsoe a few years ago, just in a supporting role in a Hallmark film, and he was just so generous in spirit. Um, and I think he's on Broadway right now. He's doing Othello with Denzel Washington, so he's just crazy busy and successful. But yeah, I would love to reunite with him at
Yeah,
some
I
point
met
too.
him over
So
at Drama event. He's a really nice, unique
so nice.
guy, but he is really amazing.
Again, Canadian, originally from Canada. So there you go. We're taking over, I suppose, the Hallmark world.
Definitely. Well, again, thank you, Kathryn, and I'll take you once the podcast and upload them.
Lovely. Thank you again for having me. And yeah, speak soon down the line, I hope, again.
Definitely. Keep in mind if you have another project coming up or something like that. Kathryn, let's go. We gotta talk about this again.
I'll keep you posted, definitely. And thank you again for your
Uh,
support.
have a good evening, Kathryn. Take
You
care.
too.